The film starred in Belle Reve, which is simply a prison home to all sorts of weird, dangerous people and creatures. Meanwhile, Rick Flag and Amanda Waller watch a news report from Pocolistan where Circe, a rogue Amazonian, has recruited a group of right-wing men who call themselves the Sons of Themyscira. Rick Flag and Amanda Waller sees them as a bunch of clowns. Their plans is to destroy Pocolistan and take her seemingly rightful place on the Themyscirian throne. We are introduced to the non-human internment division, a place where non-humans are held against their will. Here, we meet the ragtag team of creature commandos, each with their own unique set of abilities and tragic backstories. The team is led by Rick Flag. Amanda Waller hopes to use these prisoners for their own gain. We are also introduced to a man who called himself Dr. Phosphorus. He's a sociopath who has irradiated skin he could use to burn through people or objects. A mysterious creature is also introduced, whose name is the Weasel. He is one of the few soldiers still alive from a secret mission known as Project Starfish. We are also introduced to other individuals. When Flag and Waller walk into their room, they immediately try to attack them, but Waller presses a button on her phone that gives them a debilitating electric shock. Rick Flag is meant to work with them. However, Waller is worried. Pocolistan is a friend to the U.S. Soon after, Flag and his team went on board with a chopper to Pocolistan. I know you all aren't exactly enthusiastic about this mission, he tells them. He brought them to speed on the mission ahead. Later on, they all drove to the princess castle. As soon as they arrived, they are approached by the princess where Flag is lost in admiration for her beauty, where they prank and made fun of them in a playful way. Later, they sit down for a banquet together, where Flag's team eats and enjoy their meal. The princess also introduced the queen, who is very old, to Flag. Nearby GI Robot is upset that he has not killed any Nazis for a very long time, but Nina promises they'll find some Nazis together. Ilana tells Flag she's happy to have the company. Mind you, the romantic tension between the two at this point was already high. Soon after, Ilana insists that she wanted to show Flag something and wanted him to come with her. Flag, with no intention, agreed to her request. The two got to a secluded area upstairs where she undresses in front of him, but Flag refuses to do anything with her, as his job here was simply just to protect her. He then quickly left her room. Nearby, we get to see GI Robot talk to himself about Nazis away. Outside the princess' bedroom, Nina submerges herself in the bathtub. Nina then caught the bride leaving the castle and tried convincing her to get back in before Flag figured they are gone. Unfortunately for Nina, she wasn't able to convince Bride to stay, so she accompanies her. The two then left the castle in a taxi, passing by Pocolistan's impoverished homes and people on the street. While Flag was asleep, Dr. Phosphorus tried stealing Flag's phone for the deactivator, but unfortunately for him, Flag wakes up and a serious battle ensues. Flag is seriously on the receiving end, as every punches he throws on Dr. Phosphorus also painfully burns him. The two crashed into Castle Kitchen beneath them, where Flag finds an oven mitt and manages to overpower him. Warning that Waller would press the electric shock button more times than he could handle if he tried to escape, as she also have hers. Meanwhile, the bride arrives at her destination, her birthplace, and the home of Eric Frankenstein, her estranged husband. Soon after, an elderly woman phones Frankenstein to tell her that the bride has returned. The scene then shifted to 1831, with Victor Frankenstein looking at all different kind of body parts frozen in ice. Shall each man find a wife for his bosom, and each beast have his mate, and I be alone? I yearn for a wife, father. What is it to be a human, if not for love? Eric asks him. But his father reminded him that he had created him in the interest of exploring that infinitesimal space that falls between life and death. However, he himself have not learned much about Eric yet. Eric isn't happy about this, as he furiously shouted before he holds up a decomposed head. Which then take us to the present. Nina asks the bride if this is where she was born. Why are they here now? Meanwhile, Flag is still very furious about Dr. Phosphorus' act as Ilana helped cleans his wound. Flag then promised Ilana to keep her safe, but this only gave Ilana more idea to make another pass at him. And this time, Flag gives in as he couldn't resist her temptation. Weasel, Dr. Phosphorus, and GI Robot listen from outside and keep Alexei from going in while they are both busy. Busy. Back to Nina and the bride, the two went straight into Victor's old laboratory, where we see flashbacks of the moment the bride came to life in a storm of high-volt electricity. Victor explains to Eric that because she came from nothing, unlike a baby from a womb, she doesn't have any idea who she is or where she is. Just as she cried, Nina brought a necklace to Bride, and she is overwhelmed by this, as in a flashback this piece of jewelry was given to her by Eric. However, just then, they are both attacked by a mysterious being named Circe. At the castle, Flag assembles the team to go find the bride and Nina after they're attacked by Circe. Flag uses the tracker in their body to try locate them. Back to Nina and the bride, a battle breaks out as they both began fighting the enemy and easily eliminated them all. But as she slammed against the table, she relives the first time she became intimate with Victor, while Eric watched in the background in pain and anger. Bride then gives her an almighty kick between her legs and began beating her, but unfortunately for her, Circe uses magic to turn her arm into inflatable limbs. Circe headbutts the bride and pushes her off the balcony, while Nina is shot, which unfortunately broke her tank, making her struggle really hard to breathe. In a final flashback, Eric reveals that he brutally murdered Victor so he could be with the bride. Immediately, the bride punches him, and a fight ensues between the two, kicking off a century-long rivalry across the world. Back to the present, the bride apologized to Nina for bringing them here, and the show titled Creature Commandos Season 1 Episode 2 then came to an end. Kindly subscribe to get updated as soon as the other episodes drops. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.